Welcome to College Admissions Toolbox, giving you the edge you need to get into the colleges of your dreams, with your host, Steve Schwartz. That's me. Today, we're talking with Kelly Queijo.
Kelly, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being on the show. I'm really excited to feature you. You've got quite a background here. You founded and you're the president of Smart College Visit, and you're a college admissions marketer and entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit more about what that involves and how you got into that.
Well, I'd worked in public relations and marketing for a while and ended up in college admissions marketing in 1993 at Virginia Tech. And I worked in admissions there until 2000. And it was a very exciting time to be part of the world of college admissions because technology was coming into play. You know, the web was kind of invented for us in terms of how we use it around 1995. So I was able to be part of a lot of transitions from doing things paper-based to doing things online and moving marketing from a print mail-based endeavor into online marketing. And so it was just an exciting time to be part of college admissions. And then the reason that I came up with the idea for the Smart College Visit website is that my very first task in admissions marketing was to rewrite the campus visit planner. And that was a 4-page document that we used to mail to every visitor, everyone who requested information about visiting the campus. And you know, the importance of that document and the information that people wanted so that they could plan their visits just resonated with me. And as I worked throughout the job at Virginia Tech and then moved on to work with other universities and other college admissions marketing companies, everywhere I went, the campus visit was the most important aspect of the college recruitment process. So when I became a parent of teenagers, I realized that not every website had terrific resources for planning college visits. Very few had really good travel logistics, and I thought I could put all of that together into kind of a one-stop shop for campus visit planning, and that's why I invented Smart College Visit.
That's really great. Yeah, the college campus visit is so important. Could you tell us a little bit, maybe a story about one of the, I assume that are your kids college age yet? Have they been through the process?
Yes, sort of. I have one child who's 17 and is now looking at colleges. Though the irony is that we always recommend looking early, even younger than 17. Sure. So, and then my daughter, who's 22, decided in her junior year that she did not want to go to college. She wanted to work and wanted to live on her own and figure a lot of things out, you know, and so she did all of that, and she's going to college this fall. So it was kind of exciting to, you know, be in this mix of things and how they evolve, and be one of those parents who, you know, has to even listen to my own advice that it's all going to work out.
Of course. No, it must be really exciting for you now. Could you tell us a little bit about, you know, what your college visits with your kids have been like, maybe, or just a story along those lines that you've experienced with the insights that you've gained from doing this work from the other end with the colleges?
Yeah. So I do a lot of traveling, and whenever I can, in the past, whenever I could take my son with me, since he, I assumed would be college bound, we would go visit colleges. And we had a visit to the University of Tampa when he was still in middle school. And he was resistant. He was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this." And I said, "If you're traveling with me, you have to visit colleges." So I had called ahead to let them know that we were coming. And they had a board where they would put the names of all the students who were visiting that day, a welcome board with their name on it. And they went ahead, even though we were coming last minute, and put my son's name up there. So when we walked in, the very first moment, he was like amazed that they knew his name and that they had put it there. And then the tour itself was student-led, and it was just myself, my son, and another guest, and a student who gave us a really in-depth tour of campus, answered all of our questions, and could really, talk to my son as a student. So that was really great. But the best thing was when we were meeting with the associate director, and she spoke primarily to my son. You know, she didn't she kind of ignored me, and that was great because
Oh, wow.
he's the customer, so to speak. And so she talked with him, and she asked him, what did he like about the tour, and what did he think he wanted to major in? And, just really, it was about him. And that was a very, very special experience for him. And when the last thing she asked him in the interview was, where do you think you'd like to go to school? And he said, University of Tampa.
Wow.
So, it was great to see that, to be objective from a business perspective and see that it's such a great opportunity for when you're younger, when you're in middle school, to get exposure to colleges and get a sense of what life could be like there so that you kind of have it in your mind as you move forward.
No, absolutely, Kelly. It's so important to get whatever information you can from the colleges to really be able to make an informed decision before you decide this is where I want to go. One thing I'm really curious about, a lot of college campus brochures and the formal guided tour that colleges give students with, some of their most passionate current students. I think that there's a lot of skepticism sometimes that schools are trying to be a little bit more promotional, not really give the full picture. I'm wondering, on your end, as kind of helping the colleges strike that balance, what do you guys do on the back end to kind of help students, not sell students an image that is not going to live up to the hype once they get to school? Because obviously colleges don't want kids to drop out. They don't want kids to transfer. They want students who really do want to go there and are going to be passionate advocates for the school. And I'm sure one day they're hoping that these students will become donors, right? So how do you figure that out with the brochures, with the marketing, with the guided campus tours and talks and things like that?
Well, first of all, I think visiting a lot of campuses is important, and by that I mean not even just the schools that are on your list of your top list of schools you want to apply to, but to take opportunities to visit schools that are within an hour's drive of your home. Anything that can give you more experience so that you can better evaluate when you're being sold, perhaps, and when you're just experiencing something that's real. And I think even if you can't do that and you go on a campus visit and maybe you only go on one or two, you need to speak with students who aren't leading the tour. You need to talk with other students on campus, and that will help you gauge, are they happy here? What's the experience been like for them? And most students are really happy and very receptive to answer questions about the school they're attending.
No, absolutely. Just taking that step to walk around the campus, talk to kids in the dining hall, go to maybe some activities or talks if you can, and really just to get to talk to students on the ground where you're really going to get an unfiltered, raw, and real opinion. And obviously, don't just talk to one or two students. Talk to a half dozen if you can, so you can really get a cross-section of opinions. Because, any random student, could be an oddball, could say anything. Maybe you want to find a couple of students who are going to pursue who are pursuing a major that maybe you're interested in, and that way you can really get some even more detailed help there. So that's really great advice, Kelly. Thanks so much for sharing that. If you're willing, I'm wondering if you could walk us through, kind of step by step, what goes into maybe making one of these campus brochures or some of these other materials, because I know that a lot of our listeners out there are going to be receiving tons of these catalogs from schools, and maybe they're wondering, what's the process that goes into making them?
Sure. Well, there are some things that are, the students are going to see this when they get the brochures, that are standard. Certainly some type of geographical information. So whether it's a map, like a lot of brochures will have the location of the college and then kind of what's in a 4-hour radius around it, and that's really, it's kind of good especially if you're not familiar with a school or you're looking at schools across the country. But so anyway, there's going to be something that's related to getting to campus. Usually there's overview of majors, whether it's a list or whether there's highlights of some top majors or what's popular this year. And then the thing that a lot of the brochures have are just the facts, they're key facts, which shows the breakdown with SAT scores, with gender, with financial aid, and all of that. And that's really great core information to have to help you compare schools when you get closer to making that decision about where to apply.
Oh, definitely. It's really great stuff, good stuff to be aware of. The basics. Obviously, you want to know the basics. Sorry, go ahead, Kelly.
I'm sorry. So yeah, those are the basics. But then other, colleges will take opportunities to showcase some unique things that their students are doing, whether it's in leadership roles or research or other accomplishments that they're having, what kind of involvement they have on campus. And those are great stories, to read student profiles and, maybe there's something that will resonate with you. And I think schools like to showcase that. And they like to showcase what student life is like.
Definitely. They love to use those anecdotes really to make it a little bit more real world. I'm wondering if you could take us to the moment in time of the worst college admissions moment you've seen or experienced, and tell us the story behind it, and then we could delve into some lessons learned related to it.
For me personally, the worst moment was actually, and I know this is going to sound really light, but was when my daughter told me she wanted to apply to school in England, and I thought,
wow.
you would pick something I know nothing about.
Yeah.
So I felt like a first-generation parent, where this was a whole new experience, applying to a foreign country, finding out what's involved in getting a student visa, when things have to happen, and even though we speak the same language, there are still nuances that are different in word choice and spellings and the culture and things like that. So it's been a very interesting process. Also, England is in a centralized system. So when you apply to school, you're applying to you're doing one application to all the schools in the UK. That's a really different process than what we do here in the US.
No, absolutely. That's really interesting. No, I'm sure it's a totally new system to learn. I'm wondering, do you see, as a college admissions marketer, do you see any differences in how the schools might or might not market themselves out there in England?
Oh, there are a lot of differences. Let's start with on-site visits to high schools. Some colleges do this. They have travel budgets, where their representatives can go and visit the high schools and meet students in person. And then you have schools that don't do that at all or do very little of that. And sometimes it's like I said, it can be due to budget constraints. So that's one difference. Another has to do with how many times somebody mails out a brochure or sends an email. And it's so easy today to oversend in terms of...
Of course. I know when I was in college, I got flooded with those brochures, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are currently going through that as well, or will be soon.
Yeah, and students are pretty savvy, because they're really experts at using the technology that we're trying to use to reach them, and they know how to turn us off very quickly. So,
definitely.
It's a pretty competitive space to be in to try and reach the teen audience online, and which is why a lot of schools, or I don't want to say a lot, I'm seeing from our own experience that some schools are going to larger format postcard mailings, things that are going to get their beautiful campuses in front of people, because that's what, that kind of catches your eye when you get mail. And so, you still need a combination of print and online.
Oh, definitely. I'm wondering if you're willing to share, I'm wondering if you've seen any examples on either end of the spectrum, best or worst practices you've seen a college or university engage in when it comes to marketing online, maybe on social media like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or something like that. Anything stand out to you?
I think I'm not going to be able to state any specific school in this, but
sure, I understand.
I know that there are schools that are responsive, to what people might post online, and so I think that following certain hashtags and being aware and being able to reach out to students without being invasive is really the key when using social media. But you have to be listening. You have to have your social media ears on and be paying attention to when students are posting things and what they're posting.
Oh, definitely. Have you ever seen schools engage in online message boards or forums like College Confidential or Reddit?
Oh yeah, sure. And that's a great, students love that stuff. So that's a great place to meet them up.
Definitely. I'm wondering, I'm not sure if you know about this or not, but I know a lot of students can sometimes get a little bit worried that they'll apply to college and then the college will somehow find their social media account or find their online forum account name on Reddit or College Confidential and kind of hunt through all their postings. Have you ever seen a college do anything of that sort?
You know, in our Twitter chat, campus chat, we often talk about social media behavior, and we have different experts chime in. Certainly we should all know that what's online stays online. So I don't think students are necessarily concerned. I don't think that they go that deep with their thoughts in general. That colleges are going to be researching them. In fact, we try to tell them that some colleges will. But for the most part, colleges are really, really busy. The admissions offices are usually inundated. There's never a dull moment in an admissions office.
Yeah, they get inundated with different questions, right?
Yeah, so it's not like every single student is going to be, their profile is going to be researched and reviewed online. I think there are certain circumstances when this will happen. I think scholarship applications or scholarship reviewers may be inclined to review their scholarship applications. So it's some will and some won't. That's really what it boils down to.
It's hard to know for sure, and better safe than sorry. I would imagine that maybe if you're applying for something really prestigious and there's a small applicant pool, maybe they will have the time to look a little bit more in depth into the specific students. But, I think maybe larger universities, for just a general college application, they're not going to have the time. They're already farming out a lot of application reviewing to outside consultants anyway, just because they don't have time to look at all of these, right?
Well, it's true. When you get 20 to 30,000 applications, there's not going to be a lot of time to be researching college profiles for all those students.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I'm wondering if you're willing, we can shift gears now into my favorite part of the interview, which is the lightning round. I'll ask you some rapid-fire questions. You give me some rapid-fire responses. Are you ready?
Sure.
Great. What's your number one piece of advice for the college admissions process?
For students, it is don't wait until the last minute to prepare or to apply to college. Definitely.
Solid. Early, everyone is always saying this, early is better, planning ahead is better. Definitely can't ever be emphasized enough. Could you share with us one habit that you believe contributes to college admissions success?
Well, it kind of relates to what I just said, in that if a student takes 15 minutes a day to break up the work into small, manageable chunks, then the whole process is a lot less hectic. So whether it's making notes for your college essay, or whether it's getting your references together, or letters of recommendation from your guidance counselors, just all these little things, and if you do that towards college prep, your scholarship applications, and your admissions application, little chunks, it makes it a lot less stressful in the end.
Comes back to the idea, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Thanks so much for sharing that, Kelly. Could you share with us one online college admissions resource that you absolutely love?
I really like NACAC, the National Association of College Admissions Counseling. While it's a membership association for college admissions professionals, their section on resources for students and parents is fantastic, and I think it's a tremendous resource.
Oh, great. That's really something I think not enough students know about, so I'll definitely link to that one in the show notes. Thanks for sharing it. What's one book that you believe no college applicant should be without?
I think that the book they should have even before they graduate high school and should definitely take with them to college is The Elements of Style by Strunk and White.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Definitely, emphasizing that grammar, that diction, writing ability. What's next for you, Kelly? What are you working on these days?
At Smart College Visit, we're all about travel and travel planning and colleges. And one of the tools that we developed is called the Smart Visit widget. And it's a tool that allows colleges to put travel tools on their website. We know from working with parents that what they're interested in first when they're planning travel is finding a hotel near campus. And so we have created this widget that is geocoded to the college, each specific college in the country, and they can download the widget and put this geocoded travel tool box on their website and make it easy for parents or teens to plan their campus visits.
Oh, wow, that sounds super useful. Yeah, logistics are such a big part of campus visit planning, so that sounds like this widget will definitely make things easier. We'll link to it in the show notes as well so colleges can check it out. Thanks so much for joining us, Kelly. Where can folks find you online?
I'm at smartcollegevisit.com.
Great. We'll link to it in the show notes for sure. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks, Steve.
Some of you guys were asking me about how you should go about getting feedback on your college essays and your college essay topics to start with. So I just wanted to give you some quick tips on this. Most people will tell you to just get feedback from friends, family, and teachers, but there are some major problems with this. I mean, sure, they can give advice and read drafts, but it can get kind of tricky sometimes. They know you personally, but the people reading your application don't. It can be hard to say no to these people you know and respect if you don't agree with the changes they want you to make. What you really need is feedback from people who haven't met you before, who can give you their real, honest, constructive criticism and advice to help you write the best essay possible. But at the end of the day, it's going to be your essay, and you need to be able to say no if you don't agree with one of their changes. So I really recommend getting feedback from people you don't know, or at least people you don't know very well. This way, you'll feel more comfortable disagreeing with them if you don't like the suggestions they make. So you're probably thinking, where do you find these people? I mean, one thing you could do is ask friends of friends, acquaintances, to exchange college essays, the sort of thing you review mine, I'll review yours. But another place you can find these people is, of course, the internet. I really think this is one of the best ways. There's just something about the internet that makes it easier for people to get really honest with their feedback and share what they really think about things. So I've built a small private online community where you can get feedback from other students who are going through the process right now. By working together with other students, you can share advice and get feedback on your college essays. You'll also get feedback on your college essays from me personally. This private online community is just one of several resources I've put together. They're all part of a course I've created to help you write effective college essays. You can join this community and sign up for the online college essay course at collegeadmissionstoolbox.com/essays. Thanks for listening to College Admissions Toolbox. Head over to www.collegeadmissionstoolbox.com to get more free tools and resources that will help you get into the colleges of your dreams.